It's Monday, so you know what time it is. It's time to get you updated in the world of Marvel Contest of Champions, including myself, because I've been in Manchester for the last 24 hours. And woo! What a busy time. For those interested, I went to see Peter Kay, which was brilliant. Absolutely hilarious. We waited 2 years to get after buying tickets to see him. So yeah, that was just absolutely amazing. But let's get into the show for today. And first of all, it's amazing to see that Auntmai has been updated. Yes, it's been about 6 months, over 6 months I think, since we heard back from Slugberg, who has now updated. So yeah, a little rusty getting back into it. Proud of signature chart is a smidge not correct for one, but I'm excited to finally update the site. The release dates aren't exact, but all 2024 champions added. Fantastic. It's good to see you back. And go and support. If there's an option to donate or do that kind of level of support, then do that, because it's all about keeping the site running. It's all about just giving support. Let's jump over to forums, where we've got information about season 19 of Victory Track and also the meta in general. We'll be doing meta breakdowns video, I think either today or tomorrow or something like that, once I've kind of like woken up, because out late at night in Manchester, I'm giving it large. But yeah, the Battlegrounds information season 19 are there. Cosmic Champions, light attack of 50% chance to armor break, reducing the armor rating, the defender gains permanent armor up buffs, yada yada. Essentially, I think it's going to be down to champions that are armor break immune that are going to be very effective here, but we'll have to see, and whether or not it could be fun. Hey, we got the new changes coming in, so I'm sure it will be a little bit more enjoyable for players, and we'll be covering some stuff on the channel when it comes to it. Also, on the subject of Battlegrounds, Kabam have said, and obviously in response to some people that would ask the question about we were expecting rank rewards buff this season, but it's not happening. It seems very disappointing. It almost does not have the value at this point, even top rank rewards, other than trophy tokens you get. Could have made actual competition a bit more exciting. It really needs it. This hopefully is what Kabam are going to look to push a lot of people to make the process easier to get people into Gladiator Circuit, to maybe make the competition better, which these particular new changes may do. Not saying they will or won't, they may do. It may then make it more enjoyable for it, especially if Kabam say, of course they say, we have been pretty transparent about what we've been looking to buff, and on what timeline where Battlegrounds is concerned. We didn't mention anything about buffing rank rewards. Hopefully it happens in the future for rank rewards, but it's not something that I think Kabam have got on their eye at the moment. One thing we need to consider is Kabam say that meta rewards will be in deals as of the Sinister, blah, 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 blah. The July 4th deals, right? The July 4th deals is where you're going to see meta rewards. It really takes away from the shine of doing Necropolis, apparently, but there's things like Massacre that's still within it. Maestro that's in it. However, will they likely buff rewards in Battlegrounds? Yes. When will it be? Later on this year, more than likely, because the metas go down. Depreciation, as we said, go down in rewards. That means spicy rewards, right, are given out far frequently and cost less. That's kind of the biggest point about how this game kind of operates and works, and it changes. And sadly, if you want to change something you think that needs to be changed and buffed that reward wise, Kabam need a solid evidence to kind of, or solid data to kind of prove otherwise, but it largely takes time. They end up doing it, but it takes a long time. The same way that a lot of stuff nowadays, incursion rewards have been changed recently. We've had improvements to the objectives and solo events and dailies that are going to come in soon. Although there could be a bit of an issue with that I might have found with it. So let's move on to the situation of the super event. As a lot of you know, the super event is looking to consolidate a lot of a lot of things to make it more enjoyable. Like, you know, or example on screen, like a lot of these like fantastic rewards are slotted into the game. Your 4-hour free crystal, level 2 revive, 30 units, better health potion depending on what type of position you are in the game based on your progression, but also extra rewards of choice like Titan crystal shards and also 7-star shards as standard. So there's a lot of stuff to be happy about when it comes to the game. I've seen many people pointing out that maybe there's there's some issues to it, especially with the daily crystal, like the 24-hour crystal. That wasn't really covered if that's going or not. Kabam gave the impression it was, but maybe it isn't. But we need to like see come a week. Actually, no, is it next week? Is it the 24th? 24th is 24th next week? No, it's the week after. Next Monday. Time, ladies and gentlemen. I only know that I'm just like moving house next week sometime, so need to get that sorted. But daily crystals are still available through the web store, so I don't know if it doubles up, and that's going to be a big question, I think, as was said. The daily crystals, can you double up in the amount of like Valiant daily crystals you get? Because if you don't and you're unable to get 2 as much, then that'd be disappointing, because we kind of got that, it felt like a nerf. But we need to see that, like if Kabam's saying they're available in the store, it could say 2. I don't know, like I wish Kabam would have clarified, but they don't. We'll have to see next week, and we'll of course cover that on the channel. It's going to give you an idea. Did Kabam not put in 2 crystals, or has it always been 1? Or has this been a transaction thing and they've always going to do 1 in general, but decided that it's always going to be web store? We'll have to see. We will have to see how that breaks down. But the thing that I want to point out is from these particular like dailies, these kind of like the 4-hour daily, 4-hour crystals in general. As you can see, milestone 1, 1. Milestone 2, you get 1. Milestone 4, you get 2, meaning 4 in total. 4 4-hour crystals that you get to grab, right? Now, when I was doing some sums, I'm actually a little bit not concerned, but well, it could be concerned. I will go with concerned. So here's it. Here's the facts. If the event runs, if the event runs from just after midnight, you know, 0001 AM, okay, 1 minute past midnight, the event starts then, and the event ends at 11:59 PM the same day, then within that time frame, this is what you could likely get. Now, this is my cycle at the moment. This is probably what I'm doing. I'm waking up at 7:30 in the morning. I'm collecting my 4-hour crystal before work. 11:30 AM, I might just like, you know, quick grab that. You know, I'm still kind of ignore the fact that I've done 4, 5. It's meant to say 4-hour, 4-hour. I'm going to change this because just in case people OCD it and kind of get a bit pedantic with it. So there we go. That's fine. 11:30 collect 1. Maybe I'll have that as a coffee break. And 3:30 PM again, quickly just grab on the 4-hour crystals. You just press the button, you collect it. 7:30 PM, well, I might be in the midpoint of making videos. I collect it, and 11:30 PM is probably the time that I'm looking to go to bed, because my life is wake up, do work, finish work, have dinner, make videos, go to bed late. Unfortunately, it's life, but you take it with you just take it, you just go with it. Now, for the astute people, we'll count and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct, 5 crystals. Now, fortunately, for these particular things, this new setup, that's right, you only get 4. So you could be losing, could is the word, could be losing an extra 4-hour crystal as a result of this. And that's the thing that concerns me a little bit, because people may say, well, that's not too much of a bad thing. It adds up. It does add up. If you lose on a weekly basis 7 of these, well, in those could be 2. Let's say 2 full energy refills, 1 revive, maybe 1, 2, 3. Let's say 3 level 4 health potions, and the final thing maybe something like a bit of gold. Now, that is a bit of a loss, more so for the energy refills than it would be to other things, but I would get a little bit annoyed at the time if I felt that those were like I was losing out on those. Does it as well save a lot of time? Were you having to return back to game to farm if you farmed 4 of those and you can then go and play something else? Maybe you could be like, well, that's not too much of an issue. And that's going to be the thing, isn't it? I just wanted to share that information because I thought it was important to mention, and I'd like to find out how this is rotated round. I mean, very different if Kabam say it runs from a 6 PM or 10 AM PST to a 10 AM PST, because that's very different, as those time frames become a little bit different for me of when I can actually collect them, because a lot of it will be overnight, and I'd lose, by this theory, I get 1, I'd lose the midnight one, I'd lose 4 a.m.'s one, and I'd probably lose the 7 a.m. one. So I'd end up losing 3 4-hour crystals a day based on my sleep pattern, just based on that. And I don't think it would work out as effective for the collection point of view. Now, again, this is just, I just wanted to throw this out there. It may work out as correct, it may not in theory. It's just a theory that's based on this. There was definitely someone in the thread that I think got misconstrued with some information, and maybe I am in some things, but the 4-hour login crystal, which is the 4-hour free crystal, is like that's going. Someone I think was under the impression that it was kind of like running at the same time, but it says here like the event's consolidated into the daily. So unless this is still running for these 20 days, then that's great. You'll be able to get double the amount, but I'm talking more of a permanent thing. We will have to see. I always say that the proof is in the pudding. We have to go and play the event themselves and see if that's the case. So 24th of June, I think we'll get a bit of an idea of what's going on with it, whether it's running at the same time or different time, especially because it says here the 24-hour login crystal. Note, a daily login crystal will still be claimable in the web store. So it kind of feels like they are removing it, and there's not 2, but there's 1. So again, we'll have to kind of go back to what we feel we can get out of that crystal, because I think I might have to do some sums to 100% check based on estimations. I'll be losing out as a result of losing 2 of the daily crystals. I mean, more so for those that are Valiant, because that crystal is stanked and stocked with the most just loveliest things. But again, that's another story for another day. One interesting thing with this one is a response that was from Kabam Crashed, especially from a point acquisition and farming point of view. Let's bring this better into shot, where he says that in response to, we can't provide points for each individual milestone in a fight in BGs, instead winning an entire match. You guys don't have the tech for that. I have never seen any rewards in the game for winning a round of Battlegrounds. Unfortunately, we don't have that tech. We can do a defeat a defender in Battlegrounds. When we tried that in Battleground beta, some players interpreted as win a round and got confused, so we decided to just stick with full matches. And I don't know if there was a follow-up to this, but it was an interesting that was an interesting point of the approach to it. And I think there'll be more points, especially like quantity of attack boosts, relic material, level up, rank up, and crystals, 5-star generic stones. So yeah, I think there's a lot of questions still to be had to kind of just find out what's going on, but it does look like an exciting and positive change. So I'm very happy to back it. It's just the case that I need to do some further estimations and stuff that I've had in the past and versus what I'm likely to get in the future for this. But it is a tester, that's the main thing. And so before we get into arena results and predictions, interesting on the topic of the raid Modok, I've seen a lot of people talking about the idea behind compensation for that fight because it's not the greatest. Mysterium puts, so as we know, the raid Modok fight isn't really fun or engaging. 2 of 3 prompts require you to not even attack the guy that much, so you barely deal damage. However, it is the 3rd prompt that bothers me, the knockdown of the defender while not stunned prompt. It's bugged to only work with heavy attacks and not special attacks. I've had so many runs against this guy that just cost me because he goes unblockable and cannot parry / heavy him, so him for that reason. Yet I keep knocking him down with specials and it doesn't count. I am not asking for anything crazy. I feel when I say maybe Kabam should consider compensating us by resetting the free 7 potions store for everyone, or giving 7 potions in the mail. This will allow every alliance to manage to get Modok a few more unit free tries to beat up Mr. Potato Head, since the bad node design and the bug are very much hindering the fight to an unfair degree. It's a fair point, honestly. That's eloquently put. There's no malice behind that one. Hey, I think a lot of us can respect the approach to this one. Kabam recently said on this that the fight's definitely trickier than anything in the last raid, but it's still doable. We will see what the data says, but I suspect by the 2nd or 3rd cycle, players will have sorted out the best champions, gotten some more practice and on the fight, and most alliances will be back to clearing the map before the midweek revive reset. Again, we'll see what the data shows, but on the surface it doesn't seem outside the acceptable tuning window. It should be tuned. There's mainly a lot of stuff with the Defender AI and how it just hasn't been good, and there's a lot of time it just AI just seems to be kind of like poorly tuned, poorly built, or poorly tweaked, I think is probably the correct word to kind of like look at that. What's everyone's thoughts on the matter? Make sure to put in the comments, especially because it looks like since that particular point by Kabam crashed, there's been further threads or further posts on the matter as to like, yeah, just general consensus, thoughts and feelings around it, but yeah, not great. Agree with everyone here. Terrible fight, had to whiff 4 to 5 times in a row, barely doing damage, poor design. Yeah, not great. When completing prompts with Titania, I'm not getting my raid further. Am I missing something? Is anyone experiencing? So it's Modok. I'm not playing raid anymore until they replace Modok with another boss. So yeah, not particularly great. But what's everyone's thoughts on it? Put it in the comments. Will we be seeing compensation? I doubt it. Will it be tuned better for further fights? More than likely, especially as Kabam look at that data and go, do you know what? This wasn't a great idea. Or maybe we've got to change it, which would be very positive if they do that. So yeah. That's been it. Let's go into arena results. And of course, we end the show on arena predictions for Arcade and Nimrod. Nimrod-wise, nothing. We got no information. Arcade, 146 million, got position 203. Right down, a pecking order, 270s, 140 mil. Then down, 125.3 mil, got 397th position, and 40 mil got 942. So, predictions for round 2, let's go with 135 or 130 to 135 for Arcade as a 6-star, and then 26 mil for the 5-star version of Arcade. And then we don't have anything for Nimrod, so we'll go with the one before, which was 20 mil for 6-star Nimrod, 10 mil for 5-star Nimrod. Good luck in round 2 of those particular arenas. And thank you very much for watching the show. Check out some other stuff on screen, whatever that will be. More content coming later on, whatever we're covering. We're covering stuff. Hey, bye.